Bitcoin hitting its highest level in about 2 months. And asset management giant BlackRock launching a private trust to track Bitcoin for its institutional clients. Joining us now to talk about whether these headlines indicate that we're emerging from the crypto winter, Anthony Scaramucci, SkyBridge Capital founder and managing partner and a CNBC contributor. Anthony, good to see you.
Good morning.
I think the last time we talked to you, one of your funds, Legion, had just suspended redemptions. And so I guess, the flip side of this, Anthony, is are you starting to see investor interest once again? Because that would seem to be a real sign that crypto winter, the end is near.
Well, the short answer to that is yes, but I think the longer answer, as the liquidity re-enters that market, of course, will release that suspension. So that's good news there. And again, it was what I said a few weeks ago. I just want to caution people to see through the current environment. You're getting better than expected inflation data. Before I came on this morning, Melissa, I was just looking at the fourth quarter 2019 GDP numbers, the inflation and unemployment numbers. And if you just stop and think about it, we hit pause. The pandemic created this havoc. We inducted a lot of money into the system that caused some inflation. And obviously you had the supply chain disruption. But you could very well get back to that fourth quarter 2019, which was a very strong economy, low unemployment, and benign inflation. That's probably 6 to 12 months away. And I think the market's starting to realize that. The crypto market, obviously, it's our belief that most of the leverage is completely out of that system. And so you're seeing a very strong recovery. It's just a reminder to investors not to pull out. Fight their own fear, stay patient, and stay long term. We've had a 45% bounce in our coin fund since I last saw you. Obviously, since the bad news hit, that seemed to be the bottom. We'll have to wait and see.
Mooch, great to see you. I'm curious to get your thoughts on...
Good to see you too, Tom.
It's curious to get your thoughts on Bitcoin and Ethereum on the one hand versus all of the other, so-called altcoins, setting aside stable coins. Do you have as constructive a view on the altcoin kind of universe as you do on Bitcoin and Ethereum, or are you really focusing on those two?
So we have a very large position in a smaller coin called Algorand. We think that has award-winning technology. We also think it solves for the trilemma. We also like Solana. But your question about Bitcoin and Ethereum, Tom, those are our two largest positions. As it relates to Bitcoin, we think that the improvement of the Lightning Network, the increase in applications, and the ease of transactions on Bitcoin, you're going to see a lot more commercial activity there. And of course, you have the merge coming with Ethereum, which is going to lower the transaction fees on that network. A lot of traders are probably buying that rumor, Tom. You're well familiar with this. They'll probably sell on the news of that merger, which is going to happen in mid-September. But again, I would caution people not to do that. These are great long-term investments. In the next 6 years, if we're right, if Bitcoin goes to $300,000 a coin, it will not matter whether you bought it at $20,000, $60,000. It's really not going to matter. And I'm just cautioning people, the future is upon us. It's happening sooner than I thought. The BlackRock news, I know you're looking at that. I'm looking at that saying, okay, finally Larry Fink is seeing the institutional demand. Otherwise, he wouldn't be setting up those products and he wouldn't be teaming up with Coinbase. And so when this stuff happens, I just want to remind people there are only 21 million Bitcoins out there, and you'll have a demand shock with very little supply.
So, Anthony, for Ethereum specifically, it sounds like long-term you're a believer, but short-term there is a trade that will likely happen. Is the coin fund trading around that at all?
Actually, no. We're long it. I'm trying to condition clients to just stay in there. There's no reason for us to create that friction. I think you and I know, Melissa, and I've seen you talk about this on Fast Money. If you're out of the market for the 10 best days, you've reduced your return from like a 7.5% return to a 2% return. That's the overall stock market. And so I don't want to start herking and jerking the portfolio based on emotion. Again, we're up 45% since we last spoke. We did nothing but hold the positions and stick to our discipline. I think that's the message I'm trying to send to investors. See through this. There's a lot of short-term people. There's a lot of research departments in different wirehouses that have knee-jerk reactions to things and they get overly emotional. We're trying to tell people just relax, see through this. We see a pretty optimistic scenario for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Algorand over the next 12 to 24 months.